Okay. Ta-da! I see you guys. Hello. All right. Speech time. Okay. So, I'm Erica Nellis, and I'm going to be giving a persuasive speech on why we should help our military veterans with their PTSD and why it's important that we should. So normally when you're driving down the road and you see a piece of trash, you kind of look at it and you're like, oh, it's just a can of soda. It's just a piece of trash. For most of us, it really is just a piece of trash or a can of soda. But for those who served, it's not always just a piece of trash. In fact, I went out to lunch with a friend that I work with, and we were just driving on a normal road. It wasn't weird, anything like that, just going to lunch. And we saw a can of soda in the road, and it was an empty can, and he swerved. He was a Master Chief in the Navy for 25 years, and he swerved at a can of soda. And I looked over and I was like, that was weird. Why did you do that? And he said, it's just force of habit. Because he didn't know how to decipher the difference between being here and being in, other countries. He looked at it as it was an IUD or something that could threaten his life. And to me, that kind of stuck with me. And he, it just was something that I kind of looked at like, maybe everything we see isn't just a piece of trash. So, yeah. So going into that, a study that was done through the National Vietnam Veterans Readjustment Study claims that a large majority of our veterans actually suffer from PTSD or some other form of depression. And this can be from the day after they leave up until 20, 30 years after they are out of the service completely. So it's not just, oh, they have it now and they'll never have it again, or they had it when they got out so they won't have it, after 50 years. It sticks with them for quite some time. And about 20% of our vets suffer from that. And in a recent poll done by the same study, they took 600 vets and showed that about 14% of them had PTSD, 39% of them had alcohol abuse, and 3% of them had drug abuse, with major depression being the underlying issue in all of that. And where people would think that the vets actually seek treatment to help with these, it's not true. About 50% of our vets don't seek treatment. So it's a large portion of people who serve who are not getting help, that should get help and deserve the help. Another thing that goes along with this, and it's a very sad subject, I think, is the suicide rates. And the suicide rates are extremely high in vets from the Vietnam War, from Iraq, from Afghanistan. The suicide rates just aren't astronomically higher than civilian rates, but they are much higher, than if a normal person were to commit suicide. But about 7%, and I have this nifty little chart for you. I don't know if you can see it, but about 7% of the population is vets. It makes up for the vets that we have. And about 20% of them makes up for the suicides that happen in the nation. So it's kind of sad when you think about it that way. Another way to look at it is about 5,000 to 8,000 suicides happen a year from just our vets alone. And when you break it down even smaller, that's about 22 suicides a day. So it's a huge issue in our, really, Shadow? Come on. In the vet community. So, I mean, how do you stay serious? So the families are being broken apart. Spouses are becoming widowed at very young ages. And just, it also goes along with not enough mental health counselors there to help. And it's actually sad to hear that troops are being lost to suicide more than they are in battle. So it's kind of sad to think about. So there's lots of ways that we can help, and actually the different branches of the military have started to help also with the suicide rates to go down. They've started instituting training so that the troops can catch the warning signs early, and they can kind of take away the stigma behind suicides in the branches. Another thing is, I personally think we should start trying to hire more of the mental health counselors and trying to get the help that they need through Veteran Affairs, because, you know, Veteran Affairs is, from what I've heard, very busy, and they don't really have a lot of time for the vets. So I think we should try and make time for them. What I'm going to try and do in this upcoming year to help them is I'm going to start trying to donate to foundations that actually help with vets that have PTSD. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And that's my speech.